Hello, everyone. Alongside TSE President Tom Glick, I'm Tiffany Blackman, your Charlotte MLS reporter. Tom, Major League Soccer made a significant announcement today, giving our club a new timeline for the opening season, which will now be in 2022. Can you give our supporters some insight into what went into this decision?
Hi, Tiffany, and thanks. Yeah, this is a big decision and a big moment for our new club. We've been so focused on building and have been building towards the spring of 21 to now push to 22 is going to cause us to wrap our heads around that new date, to adapt our schedule. And, we've made huge progress. And so we've been super focused on delivering everything for 21. But I think in discussions with Major League Soccer over these last few days, as we've assessed with them the impacts over the last several months of the pandemic and COVID-19 and the disruption to business as usual and building a soccer team as usual, we've ultimately agreed with them that this is a case where more time will be a benefit. And so we now have nearly 20 months until the spring of 2022. And it's really the perfect amount of time. If we stand back from it now, it was always going to be a fast launch. We were ready for that and we've made big progress, but to have this extra time will benefit us. And, this is a club that we are establishing for Charlotte and for North and South Carolina that's going to be around for, the next 100 years or more. And we owe it to everyone involved, our supporters, our partners, the community, to build it right and to get it right. And it will be a year and a half of firsts, of milestones that should be savored and experienced and enjoyed and not rushed. And I think we now have the opportunity to do that. And so we accept it, we'll embrace it. And I think it actually will allow us to build an even stronger club and arrive at our inaugural game and our inaugural season in a really strong place and set ourselves up for long-term success.
And speaking of milestones, we signed our first ever player in midfielder Sergio Ruiz last week. And as we continue to look ahead, Tom, you mentioned the benefits of having the 2022 start. How will that help us when it comes to looking for a head coach and continuing to build this team?
Well, so let's start with Sergio Ruiz. We're super excited about Sergio. Every position on the park is going to be important for us, but to start with a central midfielder, our playmaker, to help us win the ball back and to help create opportunities. This is a great person to begin with. Sergio now will be 27 as we arrive in the spring of 2022, hitting his prime as a player. And we'll now be able to loan Sergio out to another club to continue his development as a player over the next 18 months. And this is a very normal thing in professional soccer. And we'll now do the same with other targets that we have at other positions. And as we talked about over the last several days, Zoran Cornetta, our sporting director, Thomas Schalling, our scouting director, and their teams have really made a lot of progress. So we have some interesting choices in front of us. We're going to try to close on some additional players, do it now, and then develop those players over the next 18 months. That will be fun for our fans to follow our players, our Charlotte players, as they play in other clubs and progress, and then rejoin us in January of 22 for our first training camp and our first season.
And Tom, what about the head coaching search? How is that going?
Well, we're in the finalist stage, so we've been really lucky. We've had a huge number of really bright and talented young and up-and-coming coaches, experienced coaches from around the world who want to come to Charlotte, be a part of this new club in Major League Soccer. We now have more time, so I think that we'll have to assess what we do in terms of whether we close and bring someone in straight away, or we keep talking and keep looking. Those coaches may also want to make sure that they're working and coaching during the 21 season. So we'll take our time, but we know that we have a ton of interest and some really good prospects, and we're building a winning team, and that includes the players, but it really, having the right manager, the right style of play, a developer of talent, a good coach, someone who wants to play young players. This is super important. So we'll continue the process, and that also goes for the assistants, the performance coaches, the sports scientists, all of these key positions for Charlotte's new club. We just have that little bit more time to work on our recruitment and get exactly the right team together.
A total of 32 players signed on for our academy. The inaugural program is set to begin in less than 2 weeks. What can we look forward to on that front?
Well, this is such an important part of our club. North and South Carolina not only love soccer, they love playing soccer, and they play it well. There's a hugely positive track record here, and so we know that we have 2 states and a region that is just full of talent, and we expect that the talent that is here, we can bring them into our Elite Youth Academy, give them great coaching, a great games program, and help them further develop, and at some point walk into the first team for Charlotte's MLS club. Later this month, we'll begin with 3 age groups. We have under 17s, we have our under 14s, and then we have a combined under 12s and 13s program. So we're about to begin that. And these are players, and particularly in the case of the under 17s, by the time we're beginning in 22, you may see 1 or 2 of these young players who are ready and are knocking on the door of that first team. We're just excited about getting it all rolling. Mark Nichols, our technical director, Dan Locke, our academy director, have put together a great operating team. We have young players and their families who will be meeting with, over the coming weekend as they begin to start training later this month.
We really have had a lot going on as a club, but what everyone is waiting for is happening next week. Tom, how excited are you to unveil our team name, crest, and colors?
This is a big moment. It's fun, and we owe it to everyone to get it right. We've been teasing it for the last week and a half. There's a live show, as we now know, on next Wednesday, the 22nd at 11 a.m. And we're going to enjoy this moment. I think this is going to be a fun moment for our fans. It's a moment that they have helped us create, because the whole process that we've gone through has been about listening and creating with Charlotteans and Carolinians about what is it that this name should be, why should it be that, what should it represent, and why. And I can't be objective. I've been part of the creation process as well, but I just think people are gonna love it. We're gonna have merchandise on sale straight away, and this should be a great moment for next Wednesday morning.
And lastly, some fans have already made deposits for seats or are considering doing so. What's next for them?
We're going to get right to it. So this is a growing group of supporters. We now have deposits for more than 25,000 seats. That number continues to grow as we continue to sign players and we reveal our name and our crest and our colors. This is going to continue. We'll be ready this fall, so in September, to begin the seat selection process. So we're not going to slow down. We're not going to make our supporters wait. And in fact, we'll be ready in just a couple of months to start working with them on selecting seats for the inaugural season. So it's an exciting moment, and they're going fast. So for anybody who's watching that hasn't put a deposit down, I would encourage them to do so, because we've been really lucky to have such an enthusiastic response.
A lot to look forward to next week and, of course, in 2022. Tom, thank you.
Thanks, Tiffany.